During the course of the game, each proxy may make use of their anchors they made in character creation to exert their will directly onto reality. They may spend each anchor once. When spending one of the first two anchors, so the reminder of home or the proxy's covert symbol, the player must choose one of the following. Look at their hand and choose the card they will play for that round. Change 3 sentences within a single incursion when cascading the changes. Or force the changes to cascade in the opposite direction, affecting events closer to the past than the future. A player may spend their third anchor, their trinket, to achieve one of the following effects. Revert an existing incursion back to its original form, restoring history in the time stream document. Convert an incursion into a fixed point in time, using a temporal lock, meaning that neither player can amend it in future. Or take a second turn instead of writing and sending a letter at the end of this turn, resulting in creating 2 incursions of this round.
Okay, so that was a heart, correct? So I'm going to draw another heart into my deck.
Mm-hmm.
And I am going to spend my first trinket to choose which card I want to draw.
That's a good shout. Yeah.
This round.
Yeah, getting a lot of hearts.
And I think I know exactly which one it is I want to take. Yes. Okay. I have drawn the King of Spades.
Ooh.
So, emotionally, this letter from the enemy shouldn't exist. And as you read its contents, your gut reaction is one of unease and wrongness. You know you should destroy it and wipe all trace of it from the timeline, but it will never truly be gone, not while you still remember.
Ooh.
And my prompt for this is, you are sent to revisit a moment from your own personal history. Pick one of the prompts below and cross it out. The spade is the first mission you were sent on. Special, when playing a king, you revisit a moment from your own personal history. If any kings have already been played and you do not cross over with that event. Instruct your opposite number to add a joker to their hand. If they have already added both jokers, then they add a card of the matching suit as normal. Okay, so you're going to add a joker to your hand.
Ooh. Oh,
interesting.
Okay. That's terrifying. I love it.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, so it's the first job. It's the job that the bullet casing is from.
Yes. Is that the anchor you spent as well, or is that?
No, I spent my tag, my smiley face.
Ooh, interesting.
My emoji. Going back to that first mission, especially seeing my work undone, I needed to see myself accomplish something. And it was another from your faction that I was sent to stop. Someone who had been sabotaging over and over again. Someone who had, unfortunately, a lot of promise, just was on the wrong side. At the time, I think I was frustrated that they wouldn't let me give it a try first. We couldn't try to recruit them or convince them. And I was young and passionate and fought back a little bit against my orders. But I learned really quickly that that was not going to work. And I did my job. But watching it back, my trigger finger is shaking, and I didn't remember it that way.
Nice.
That's that.
I like it. King of Spades. They called him Ranger, but I think his real name was Evan. He was misguided, sure, but he seemed like a decent guy. He was good at chess, I heard, before he got on the job. I thought that I was steadfast in my work. When I hold that bullet casing in my hands, I remember that I did my job without hesitation, without falter. But I watch it back, and my memory lied. My finger barely pulled that trigger. I did not even know the man.
Okay, I'm going to write my little message to you. I'm just going to remind myself what the thing is here. It is, this letter from the enemy shouldn't exist, and as you read its contents, your gut reaction is one of unease and wrongness. Okay. Okay, there you go.
Ooh, I don't want to look at it. I've been seen. I thought I told you to be careful. Don't you value your life? If anyone else saw this letter, they would have you killed. Christ, they'd probably make me do it. You don't understand the stakes, and I need you to. Things are bad now, but they can always get worse. We have to set the things right, and I can't lose sight of that. I'm fighting to bring us back to a time when these letters wouldn't have been a crime. Isn't that worth something? Keep your head, damn it. Silver. Oh. Well. Oh, I love that.
I liked thinking about because it says to think of the larger emotional context and then to zoom in on this one. So what is it to be disgusted by getting this letter when we're already at two hearts in the larger scheme of things? This is a fun little complex emotional builder.
Yeah. No, I really like that. So Reddit, I'm going to add spades to my hand, if I can remember which one is spades. There we go. You see, you've given me a joker now. And I kind of want to play it.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to burn my anchor. I'm going to burn my first anchor, the key to the house. And yeah, I'm going to play my joker.
Amazing.
Which means the following. I mean, it feels there's only one king out there, but I kind of like what you've done with that, and so I kind of want to see. So the Joker says, I infiltrate the personal history of my opposite number. Pick a king incursion that they've written and insert yourself into it, so that would be the first mission you were on. You may not openly interact with the other proxy or cause their demise, but may reveal details about that point in time that they were previously unaware of.
Oh, amazing. I can't wait to see what you do to it.
Yes. Good. I guess it's revisiting an incursion, right? So would be
No,
part
I
of
think that I would take a joker if you pull a king and reveal a bit of your memory, right?
Yes. So then
I wonder, do I take one because you're playing a joker?
Well, that's what I'm wondering too. I was trying to have a quick look. Or maybe you take one from a random pile. That's what I was just trying to double check because I couldn't see that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I'm happy either way. I was just going to have a quick look because I don't want to do you out of a card. And if you want a joker, you can absolutely have one. But then I haven't.
I don't think it would make sense because you've not played a king yet.
Yeah.
So if I played a joker, I would have nothing to visit.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably a random card.
I think
it
is.
Make sense.
I'm sure it's in somewhere. I can't find it. But yeah, I'm happy to go with you just choose from a random pile. So that's fine.
Beautiful.
But then do we think that this is part of the same incursion like I did with the previous one? If you see what I mean. Because I guess I'm visiting that mission, aren't I? So it will just go into that slot still.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Good. Just didn't want to do you out of a slot. I think Evan is a decent guy. You know, couple of dates seemed okay. Misguided, sure, but seemed really decent. I feel like, as you sort of mentioned, recruitment and how this was your first mission, which sort of brought you to the highlight of our faction and your own. I had to go back and see how it unfolded completely and get the best seat in the house, which is through dating.
Oh my God.
You know, like to hold hands, had a bit of a weird laugh. But one maybe crudely would say harmless. Had the sprinkling, the sort of almost like seeds germinating, the potential to be molded, and that's probably why your faction saw him as a threat. I dip in and out of his timeline and try and get what made him special. And ultimately, he wasn't special. What made him special was that you took him out. I see it happening. I put myself far across the part. I know the time. I know the place. So that when Evan is hit by the bullet, I can look exactly where it comes from. People are screaming, running to help. It's reported afterwards that he was meeting somebody for lunch and a woman rushed to his side, stayed with him till he died. But in all the photos reported in the newspaper, any still images on the news or the screens, anything about that event, she's not looking at Evan at all. She's looking off, slightly up. Her eyeline tracing to a place where the shooter possibly was. It's hard to say. And some would say, even though, like, maybe it's just the crease of the photograph or the way the static is on the televised image, but you could swear that she was smiling. She doesn't appear in any interviews or comments. No one can get hold of her. And Evan passes into obscurity. Just another blip, another life, snuffed out like a candle.
Damn.
Damn.
That's good juice.
King of Spades. They called him Ranger, but I think his real name was Evan. He was misguided, sure, but he seemed like a decent guy. He was good at chess, I heard, before he got on the job. I thought that I was steadfast in my work. When I hold that bullet casing in my hands, I remember that I did my job without hesitation, without falter. But I watch it back, and my memory lied. My finger barely pulled that trigger. I did not even know the man. Joker. Evan was a decent man who had the beginnings of something great, something we could have used. His death meant the start of something different for the factions. A new player had entered the ring. So, I had to get front row seats. I embedded myself into Evan's life as his partner and followed him to the time and place when he died, all to get a glimpse of who my opposite was when they started out, when they themselves were a kid. And it was impressive and clean. A perfect crime. Written the incursion, added to it. Don't need to amend anything downstream because there's nothing downstream yet. Draw a card that suits. Interesting. And add it to my hand. So I'm not going to draw another Joker. I'll just do a random pull from the...
Yeah.
Because that makes sense too. Sure. What have we got? We've got a load of hearts. I think I'm going to go for diamonds. Mm-hmm. I'll add a diamond to my hand. All right, there's that. Discard the Joker, and I'll send you a little message.
Silver, is that a threat? You would kill me, all to save your status quo and all the will of your elders? I decided to go through the old Silver classics. Your highlight, as it were. High stakes Evan, huh? How did he compare to old Reagan? A clean kill of an unremarkable individual versus the tuning down of a leader's impact. It feels like you are shifting the goalposts. You've gone soft in your old age, my friend. I thought such letters would give you comfort, something to pass the time. But I will bow to your wisdom and cease at once. Let us see who lasts long in this game of cat and mouse messaging. The kid. Bam. Damn. Okay. So I'm going to draw. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to draw.
Okay. You can add a card to your hand.
I did add a card to my hand. Yes. But we got the Queen of Hearts, and it's my second heart. Mm-hmm. Okay. So the wait for contact was agonizing, made all the worse by the need to seek out the message discreetly, lest your superiors discover the treachery that grows within you. If this is wrong, then why does it lift you up so? So it's the Queen was my prompt then. So compared to the temporal mechanics of your own time, the breakthrough that you have been sent to inspire is a simple yet vital revelation about the world. What secret of reality do you point the researchers towards, and how will it affect their world? As they push the boundaries of knowledge, will they use it to support civilization, or will it be turned against them? Do you mind if will you be upset if I put a little allegory to global warming into this? Because I have an idea.
Yeah, no, I'd love to hear it. Yeah. Okay. Go for it. Yeah.
Okay. So the simple yet vital revelation about the world is that something about the chemicals or the materials, maybe how we're discarding the bits of technology that everybody is using, that everybody has access to. Something about that is changing the dragons. Oh, I think that this is I'm kind of putting in. We know that in the future dragons are disliked, dangerous, pests at best. But in my past, they were friends to us. They were kind. They were part of our lives. And maybe even the bigger ones were like work animals, like cows, horses, things like that. I think now I think that it is causing a change in them. It is causing changes to the atmosphere that they live in. It's causing changes to their food. It's causing, mutations in their reproductive cycle, and they are being born more aggressive and less predictable and fearful of humans because they have learned to associate us with these chemicals that are dangerous and things like that. And I think that humanity, obviously, in the original timeline did eventually learn that, but so the information, I think, was withheld and obscured from the general population. So I think what I want to do is I want to get it in the hands of some researchers who aren't like affiliated with any government. Like I'm going to put it in the hands of like some students.
Yeah.
Like people who are not yet corrupted by the world. I'm going to get it into their hands somehow.
Yeah.
Maybe I just take the role of a professor even at a university, and I nudge them into looking into this thing. I find one kid who has an idea that could possibly pull us in that direction. And I'm going to encourage it and press it and make it happen. And I think this is going to...
It really feeds into that subtle stuff that you're doing.
Here.
That you see yourself as subtle. I really like that.
Yeah. Okay. Let me write this incursion here.
Queen of Hearts. A young university student almost figured it out on her own, but she decided to pursue a different thesis until her new adjunct professor arrived. I didn't have to do much, just encourage her and her research team, made sure she didn't give up. She eventually figured out what caused the dragons to turn wrong, and she had the passion of youth in her corner to cause a riot about it.
Okay, so I'm going to see what I might change in the cascade here.
Yeah.
I don't think my personal event will change.
No.
But the community center thing I think is going to.
Absolutely, yeah. The Two of Hearts. The community centre shelters all of us from the uprising outside on the streets. People hiding in rooms with metal chairs pushed to the sides. Groups of parental figures gathering, whispering about what happened. A slow seeding of misinformation into the conversation slips in. And so the fire burns as anxiety and accusations fly high and about. The pings of notifications indicating the work is done.
I'm changing growing unrest to uprising.
Ooh, heck yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so then that was a heart. I'm going to take a heart, add to my deck, and write my message to you in that context.
Yeah. Hey, kid. I'm sorry. It wasn't meant to be a threat. I just don't want to see you killed. There's enough waste in this war, and I don't think I can handle you added to the list. I pulled something a little bigger this time. Hope you're proud of me. I can still do a real number now and then. Don't stop writing. Just be careful. Always. Silver. Oh, amazing. Amazing. That was the Queen of Hearts. Put another one into my hand. Man, if I get another Queen of Hearts and just constantly follow you through your own incursion, that's what's been happening, you know? Let's see. I'm going to go for... Oh, no, not a heart. It's a diamonds. The Three of Diamonds. Diamonds. I don't think we've had diamonds yet.
I don't think so, because that's the stack that looks the fullest on mine.
So the first diamond says, could it be that their words are sincere? The thought is so ludicrous that the mere possibility is invigorating. Honest communication with the enemy. But if that is true, then why? What has changed? Okay. So it says here for 3, it is the night before the coronation, and you stalk the halls whispering truths and falsehoods into the ears of all those who will listen. Who is due to be crowned, and will your words cement their rule or topple it before it's even begun? It's interesting, because we've already had a presidential sort of election that you
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a coronation. Let's keep it political.
Okay.
I think it is. We've gone further on from that election, from the sort of President Reagan era. We're a bit more, not in the sort of current now, but maybe like 10 years or so from the modern day point of where we're sort of interacting in this particular time stream. I think it is a coronation in the sense of it's a vote for the next sort of head of a big board, like a global sort of network.
Ooh.
I'm thinking similar sort of...
like UN kind of thing?
Exactly.
Or like
I'm thinking like...
Okay.
Yeah, UN-ish / sort of maybe World Health Organization, but specifically, I think it is something to do with the dragons. It is some sort of group because of this sort of stuff we've had with like the research and the climate change stuff we talked about last time. We're trying to get folks elected in who are deniers of certain things, like underwriting that sort of rhetoric. And it's the night before. Yeah, I think where this takes place is going to be later on from the last incursion of the rhetoric and stuff, and this new sort of wave of scientific research. And we have someone who is like, we are doing this damage. It's not in their nature to be aggressive or anything like that. They can help us. It's a delicate ecosystem. There's a prominent sort of figurehead who's advocating for the change, a proper sort of Greta Greenberg type character, I think.
Sure.
I think it's, I'm very lazy. It's a similar sort of guise to the previous sort of intern from the Reagan era. And I'm just being like, yes, but don't they just look a bit tired? They got all the way to this point and it's just a lot of work and they're so young, it's a big responsibility. And it's little things like that, little jellyfish sort of like negative things. It's like, yeah, but it's just so much hard work for them. And I don't think I'm not one to judge, but they're saying all these new things. It's going to be really tough for them. Making it about the personal rather than like what they're going for. And maybe it's comments on their appearance. Maybe it's you saw the way they talked about this. Yeah.
Petty things.
Yeah. And when I notice if it doesn't work on one or two people, I just go, well, it's just my opinion, and then move away. And then seeing anyone, having this sort of chat about the vote and everything like that, I'm like, well, and even to the point where I'm maybe making up a few things of like, well, did you see their, did you see their social media profile? And I bring it up, and it's like old like posts from years ago, but I just so happen to have it up. And it's like, it doesn't look very good. I'm just saying if I could find it, and it's, it's nothing. It's like out of context.
Yeah.
That sort of thing I'm sort of doing. So I'm just trying to see, again, that misinformation seeding it before it all sort of comes crashing down to the vote tomorrow. I think I'm not there for the vote as well. I think I just leave it and just do that sort of misinformation.
Beautiful.
I'm going to do it after that Reagan. So I'm going to go for slot 5 on that one. Yeah, because this was a 3 of...
That makes sense.
Yeah.
The 3 of Diamonds. The night before the big vote. A chance for pro-dragon advocate Chris Trenton to be elected to the UN and make it a big win for the other side. I do my best in sowing seeds of doubt in the other delegates. I comment here about their lack of experience. I mention there of their appearance and demeanour, just enough to keep them at bay from scoring another point. These little seeds will grow, and the sprouts should change the war to be in our favour.
Then I'm going to take another diamond to go into my hand, and then I'm going to write you a letter. Just checking the cascade, if I need to cascade anything. I don't think so. Yeah, I think not, because then it's your first mission. So then, no, I don't think nothing would cascade, so that's fine. All right, there you go.
Okay. Silver, you weren't joking. I had to spend a whole evening talking to diplomats to try to unpick your work, like fine thread in a tapestry. Smart play going for the upcoming wave of scientists. They have so much hope in the face of adversity. The youth will always be one step ahead of us, huh? I am delighted you told me. It makes me keen to see what happens next. But does that mean it's over? This little exchange between us? Say it ain't so. Have they cottoned on to us? You have to say so if it's true. It's only fair. No. Wait. Are you retiring? Who will be my letter chum now if you aren't active in the field anymore? I will keep writing, but only if you keep playing. The kid. Oh my God. Okay. So that was, what card was that?
That was the 3 of diamonds.
Diamonds. Which stack is diamonds? It's this one. Okay. I'm putting a diamond into my deck, and then I draw a card at random from my hand and play it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. Oh my God. This is a 6 of hearts.
It's your 3rd heart.
That's my 3rd heart. Okay.
The game enters the final phase when one of the players completes an emotional prompt suit by playing their 3rd card of that suit. After playing this card, they complete their turn as usual, but must end their message with the phrase, "I think it's time. Meet me at," followed by a location and a time. The players should then arrange to meet in real time, either face-to-face or online using a video call. They must have their trinkets or a representation of them close to hand.
So the emotional state goes up to 3 hearts. So let me look to where that is. You can stand this no more. This longing for and need for contact. You know that you must seek them out to once and for all find completion or destruction in their presence. Okay. Then I compare the value of the card played to the incursion table to get the prompt for this round incursion. So 6 of hearts. You have been sent to the climax of a famous conflict. What, where, and when is it? Whose future have you been sent to alter? Are they a general leading armies into battle, a common soldier fighting for their life, or an innocent bystander caught in the crossfire?
What a card to get.
Yeah. The climax of a famous conflict. I'm going to put us into the future. I'm going to put us down further on the timeline. I'm going to say there's a misguided politician that arises who wants to do something about the escalating of the world's traumas and the environmental destruction and the dragons, and has simply too many interests pulling them in too many different directions. And we know that they make a bad one. They try to destroy a major nest of dragons.
Fuck.
The thought behind it was that these beasts consume so much and heat the world so much, and that getting rid of such a large cluster of them would fix things. Of course, it did nothing but start a war. And I'm going to go back to that moment. There's a crucial moment. I'm going to call it like a crisis room where all of these different interests are quite literally pulling on this world leader. I think they're not like, I don't think they're the leader of one country. I think they're a leader of that like world organization.
Yeah.
That we talked about before. I think they're part of that. And I think that the interests are so many different corporations, countries,
charities,
individuals, charities, so many that have different opinions and different calls on this and are pulling them in different directions. And I show up, and my initial thought is to be just another voice in their ear. Like I was before, like I've done to Reagan, just whisper all the wrong things and veer them in a different direction. But then I realized that I need to talk to my friend. And so I'm going to do it in a flashier way, a way the kid would like. And I think I sabotaged this board meeting. Something that will make a mark on history, I think. Stink bombs, we used to call them. And so this advisory council doesn't happen on this day. And so they do wind up making a different, slightly better, although not probably the best decision. At least doesn't start a war. But it doesn't necessarily fix anything. It definitely didn't solve all the world's problems, but it for sure made a mark. And that's what I did.
I love it. It's so out of character. It's great.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing, like, whoa. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's brilliant.
6 of Hearts. The council was held to determine what to do about the crisis escalating all over the world. I should have handled this delicately, whispering influence into the leaders' ears until they made the best decision instead of the worst one. But I can't retire without talking to the kid. I have to send them a signal, loud and clear. So, instead of a meeting with 1,000 voices pulling our leader in different varying degrees of wrong, I set off a stink bomb in the conference room, one that put this meeting off for days until they had to make a choice on their own. They did fine. Not great, just fine. The world didn't end in a dragon war, at least.
Okay. That's the incursion.
Yeah.
So now I write you a
letter.
No downtime incursions. No, none of that.
So just to let you know, when you write this letter, if we're happy to go with that, you've done your 3 hearts, which I think is a good space to move on to the end game if you feel it.
Yes. Oh, that's right.
After playing this card, they complete their turn as usual, but must end the message with the phrase, I think it's time, meet me in at, followed by a location and a time.
Okay.
Or words to that effect of some sort.
Yes, of course. Okay. There you go.
Hey, kid. I assumed you got my signal, but just in case I wasn't loud enough, I think it's time. Meet me at the spot where Evan died. Oh my God. Just after they cleared the scene. No one jumps there. No reason to anymore. We might stand to have a minute without them crawling all over us. Maybe even 2 minutes. Don't get caught on the way. Don't do anything stupid. Well, except the thing I'm asking you to do. Silver. Well, I am gagged. Heck yeah. During the meeting, the proxies will finally come face to face and determine their fate by making a choice: to place their trust in the other or to seize the opportunity. This choice is informed by the events of the game, their current emotional state, and the letters that each of them have sent. If a proxy decides to place their trust in the other, then they are choosing to leave the war behind them and accept their fate, whatever it is. Making this choice requires that they believe that they will choose an outcome that is beneficial to both of them. If they instead choose to seize the opportunity, well, then they give in to their training and seek to control the course of reality. Whether they do this for themselves or their faction is irrelevant. The impact on reality will still be the same. During the meeting, the players will take turns to describe the situation as the proxies come face to face with one another. This should include a description of the location where the meeting is taking place, the significance of the time period and its impact on the war, and the appearance that both proxies have chosen for this meeting. Does Epic arrive first?
I think so. Epic is waiting there. I think that what happens actually is that Epic goes back, relives the scene again. That day watches it again. And as his past self leaves, the like older, more war-torn version of him that was watching off scene as he killed this young recruit, as that version of him walks away, the present day Epic walks forward into that same spot, and sort of as he takes each step, like morphs younger and younger, and like resumes that look of that kid that he once was. And he just sort of takes a seat there in the spot where it happened, still impossibly warm, a place that is unnatural to be in because you're supposed to move on from these things. And I'll just wait and hope that the kid shows up. Although maybe every few minutes wondering maybe if it's better off. Maybe it's better off if they don't. No. I hope they show.
I think, Silver, you see, after maybe about 10, 15 minutes, what one would describe as fashionably late. Walking down from a path. For some reason, I think it's in a park. For some reason, that's what you're on a park bench. That's what I'm envisioning just now.
Yeah.
You see the kid in the sort of like sports mom, sort of like bangs and like a hairband, pink puffer jacket.
Yeah.
Bright blue, like under layers, like obnoxiously like turning heads, really.
Sure.
And she's walking at like a very decent pace, like not rushing or anything like that, and sort of looks to you and does a wave, so like, oh, yeah, and continues to walk to you. She has a bag, like a brown paper bag, decently sized, that she's holding with her. And she comes and sort of sits next to you and hands you the bag.
Pretty stupid of you to come here.
Oh, I was invited. Go on, open it.
Okay. I didn't get you anything, just so you know.
No, don't worry. Inside is a birthday cake slice. And it clearly was part of a bigger thing. But what you can see on it, it says happy with no Y and then retire on it.
Ah. Someone retiring?
I mean, you didn't answer my question. So I just, well, bon voyage, I guess. It's all I could do. I think that party's still going, so.
Oh, you jacked this from somebody else's retirement party.
Well, you know, gotta stick to type.
No. That's pretty good. Hey, did you see my handiwork?
I did. You know what? Big fan.
It felt really bad. I didn't like doing it at all.
But it's fun, isn't it? Just to break out. Like, I've studied so much of your work. You're, like, most wanted and stuff. Like, this, I'm a fan. This is me meeting a hero, so.
I'm not really, I didn't call you here because I need a fan. It's just,
No.
I don't.
No.
I don't know if either of us are doing this right.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe there's a right way.
How do you see this end? How do you see this, like, the back and forth? Like, don't get me wrong, I've really enjoyed it. But no one else gets it. No one else has fun, and I didn't expect you to write back, and you did, and it just makes me question things, you know?
Good. And he sort of like gives you a little pat on the arm. Good, good. Yeah, question things, because this is we're not supposed to. And I guess I'm just saying you should, because if you're not supposed to, you probably should. I guess that's my version of all your fun little flourishes and things. Is I might not be flashy, but I figured out a while ago that, you know, they don't always have it right. And the whole war, the whole system even, well, it's good to question it, is all. I don't have a right answer. I don't have anything to tell you that we should do. I'm just saying.
Just, no. You see, like, she leans forward a little bit, her arms a little bit on her legs as she sort of looks forward, like looking at maybe the duck pond or something. Like don't get me wrong. I think, you know, we're supposed to be enemies and all that sort of thing, but all I'm doing is just following around after you, like, just trying to fix the problem. And I'm just there going like, well, you've sent me to yet another party or another, like, I'm just constantly surrounded by people and talking to them, and I'm just tired of it, you know? I'm tired of, like, doing the same thing over and over, of just messing with people's opinions and stuff. And I mean, people are scared, and, you know, people need to be told what to do, but you're just so... You're already there. I've never been able to get ahead, and I just wonder, what is the point if we're constantly back and forth? Well, they said this, they said that, he said, she said. Nothing gets done. Nothing... I'm just stuck in this loop of talking to boring diplomat after concerned school teacher, and it's just not a way I want to be anymore.
So don't be that way anymore.
Don't.
Don't.
Look, I've got a long time before I need to retire, so...
Well, and I look down at an imaginary watch, and we've been here for 2 minutes. Nobody's sniped us out of the sky yet.
No.
Could just go. Do it. You know how to jump.
Well, now? Go where? With you?
Sure. I mean, look, I am not actually retiring, but I could quit.
Quit?
I'm tired.
Hey. Holy shit.
And, you know, I could make sure that you stayed out of harm's way, and you could do all the fun stuff. And then I just get to kind of hang back.
Well, no, like, you can't just leave. I thought, like, you were being forced out. Like, you're saying you're leaving on, you're going out.
Well, I don't want to do it anymore. So,
is this not? But wait, what about what we were doing? Like, is that? Are you saying that? You can see that the kid's really, like, trying to process this a lot.
Hey.
But
I'm saying I don't want to do the job anymore. I'm not saying, and he, like, kind of gestures between you, I don't want to do this anymore. I just don't want to do the job anymore.
But if you aren't there, then I don't. The reason I've been doing this is to follow you and your work, and if you're not there, then I I have to... You can't.
Well, I mean, I was gonna anyway. Either they were gonna retire me, or I was gonna quit, or I was gonna die. You know, those were the three options. You weren't gonna be writing me letters forever.
And you'd want me to come with you?
Well, look, it'd be pretty boring retirement on my own.
Go back to your life with your pet?
I could do that. I could. It's an option. If I do that, then I can never come back here.
No.
It's a permanent decision.
I mean, I've heard of tales of what happens to rogue agents, and they get found out eventually, and then they're just erased from the stream. They would... If you leave and they find you, it'd be somebody else. Somebody else would have taken your role, and then everything we've discussed, you wouldn't be the same.
Unless that doesn't happen.
Wow. I think there's a big pause as, you know, you can see like the kids looking down at their feet a little bit. And a little tear sort of like drops down a little bit and sort of hits the pavement, and that they're crying.
Oh, hey. I'm gonna be fine.
No, I'm sorry. It's just, you never want to, when you're enjoying something, you know, what's the word? If you enjoy something, you never work a day in your life. It didn't feel like work, because I knew I had someone to talk to. And I knew, you said we'd come to an end eventually. I thought it'd be a blaze of glory, that sort of, maybe you'd shoot me, I'd shoot you, or some sort of standoff. And yet it's not a bang, it's a...
Why? I'd say we got another minute.
And I think they sit in silence for the rest of that minute. And there's a few more teardrops. But they eventually stops, and they look to you. If a proxy decides they will place their trust in the other, then they should secretly place the trinket in the palm of their hand and hold up their closed fist. If they decide they will attempt to seize the opportunity, then they should hold up a closed fist with nothing inside. Together, both proxies will reveal their decisions by opening up their hands at the same time. I think I've settled on what I'm going to do. So I've got my hand ready, so yeah. Okay. I mean, I guess we go on 3, I don't know.
Yeah, let's go on 3. All right. 1, 2, 3.
Yes!
Yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Gamer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Both had our trinkets.
Oh, yes, that's a good point. Yeah, we both had our trinkets. We both got very excited rather than...
We both had our trinkets, which means, let's see, if we both chose to place the trust in the other, the players should describe together a positive outcome for their proxies in which they leave the war behind. Mm-hmm. Do they escape to lead lives with each other, or do they make peace with their differences and depart to walk their own path? How do the factions react? I have the beginnings of a pitch.
Yeah, go for it.
That I would love your input on.
Absolutely.
I don't want us to leave the times. I want us to keep jumping.
Ooh,
I want us to keep jumping and to, I'm kind of envisioning like a world in which like we're jumping, but we are sometimes just seeing things. Sometimes we're intervening, but only when one of us or both of us feel like it actually matters.
Yeah.
But sometimes we're just jumping around to see what's out there, see what happened.
Yeah.
And maybe we're even jumping to see things that were changed by the factions, like to see like how previous agents actually did things and see if it matches what we were told. And we just kind of like piece the story together for ourselves. And like sometimes we're having sometimes we're just jumping to have fun, which I think is like an uphill battle for Silver. But he gets there with the kids' help. And then I think that sometimes it's to learn more about what the factions have actually been doing and whether or not it's always been actually helpful.
Yeah.
And just kind of doing that on their own as pals.
I like that. Yeah, they sort of going back and like as almost like a neutral party, reviewing history as it happens with both factions, the influence of it, and making the choice for ourselves rather than just being plucked from a timeline because we showed features when we were younger and like hadn't had a chance to develop and that sort of thing. And it's random things of like saving a person here, letting someone else go here, but it's always like we trust in each other to be like, this is right. We feel it's right, and we don't take it as a sort of authority like the other factions do. Like we are right. We're just like, this person needs our help. How can we give what little help we have? And I think, for fun, it's stuff like new experiences. So, like, I don't know why I've got it in my head, but the idea we do a murder mystery night, and it's like, which person is it? And you're like, exactly what it is. And I'm like, oh no, you have to have fun. It's all about the guessing. Various, like, maybe new experiences that neither of us had. Maybe we go on a wildlife sort of like preserve or safari, and we get to train with dragons, or not necessarily fly or anything like that, but it's that sort of thing where I very much like like owls where you have them on your hand. I can imagine the kid having like a very small like wyvern worm, and I'm just there like like hating every moment of it, but trying to get over the fear of this creature.
Silver cracking up.
Yeah, exactly. Great photo.
Loving it. Taking pictures. Yeah.
But it's true. I think we continue to hop, and we always know that maybe the time is short. I think going on to the sort of what did the factions make of it, I think there's a big loss.
Yeah.
Certainly for your faction who had such a great way, and then for you to go out in such a such a bang, really. It's like, oh, what's gone wrong? If anything, I think the story is spun that, hey, kids' influence on you is like, well, that's the reason. There's not their choice.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. And so if anything, the battle still continues, and maybe there's like other proxies or agents that try and find us, but I think we're careful enough to know that with each experience and with each jump, we only have a certain amount of time, and then the watch goes off or the time goes off. We know it's fleeting, but we're always careful. But I think it's enjoying each other, enjoying the moment without any other agenda put on top of it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Oh my God. Perfect.
After describing the endgame, there are 2 final scenes to be played out. The moments that each proxy came into possession of their trinket. Taking turns, each player frames a scene for their own proxy, describing the moment where they acquired the trinket and why it was so important to them. After framing the scene, the other player then describes the role their own proxy secretly played in the scene, and describes why they went back to this point in time.
I don't think the game is telling us that we need this to be here, but we do have we have the number one, like the earliest spot on our time stream is blank. Like we still have some time before all the other events that occurred on this that is kind of yet to be filled in. Silver earlier on did one bad thing. One thing he shouldn't have. The thing that you're definitely not supposed to do at all. But he was a curious man in his day. And so he did jump once to see something he shouldn't have. A time in his own future, not too far ahead of where we were, present day, where a young upstart from an enemy faction, a kid, took him out. They'd never spoken. He'd worked this whole goddamn career for what? And the kid just happened to be a quicker shot. And she was good. And he saw that happen. Caught a glimpse of her as she walked off. And picked up a bullet casing off the floor. He went back and nobody found him out, which is great. And I thought maybe it wouldn't happen, and then a few years ago, you popped on the scene.
I think seeing this sort of the way you've got your trinket as the individual, she's lining up the shot, she's getting ready to go out on this mission herself. There is a moment that she's signing out equipment and is sort of looking around for ammo, and sort of a young man goes, "Oh, yes, we've got special ones for you," and sort of hands over a little, just a couple of extra bullets, just in case you need it. And you can see on them, they're quite tarnished, they're quite old, but one especially, I think has been handled the most, with fingerprints. Just looking at it, and the individual goes, "Just take care." And this person's like, "Whatever, it's just same old, but they fill the gun or the rifle or whatever it is with those sort of bullets. And as this person heads out onto the mission, there's just a smile as the disguise fades a little bit, and it's the kid having given the bullets to this individual. So, kids' recruitment was a strange one. It was a board game night, and they weren't a big fan of these sorts of things, like, they were more, TV needed watching or some sports game, but everyone insisted on coming around to theirs and giving them a good education in board games. Now, at the time, when we say board games, I'm thinking stuff like Monopoly versions, Mousetrap, Nothing that's engaged, nothing like Wingspan level or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I think someone cracks out like a really battered copy of Ludo, and we all get given like little bits and pieces, and throughout the sort of game, the 60s come out, you press the plastic dome, another 6, making my way around the board, and suddenly I feel that excitement of finally I'm good at something. Great. And then it's going to be the final turn, and there's like a knock on the door, and I know that the other players, I've seen them sort of cheat a little bit, switching people's meeples around and all that sort of thing previously. So I go, I know where I was here, and I take my meeple with me. I'll be right back, but when you see me, I'm going to be absolute sick at this game. I'm going to be the winner, and we don't ever have to, I have a 100% record. I will never have to play Ludo again. Great. And I just walk out, and I go and open the door, and I just disappear.
I will say that years later, far after we've retired, or quit, more accurately, we'll pop back in like it was nothing. Say I was at the door. I got room for one more. And I'll squeeze in, and we'll finish the game.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yay!
There you go.
Oh my God, great game.
Great game, yeah.
Really good game.
Really, yeah, it's so different, isn't it? I mean, there's a lot to it, but once we get into it, it's, yeah.
It has enough to really build a compelling story.
Especially when normally it's like sort of asynchronous, so that it could be over several weeks and stuff like that. But obviously, when we do this sort of thing, we doing it at the same time, and so it's a different experience. But yeah, it's a lot to remember. But also, as soon as you go through the motions, it's really interesting. And yeah, we built up such a creative narrative with dragons and fantasy stuff and politicians as well.
Yeah. Oh my God, I loved it. It's so good.
Amazing. Oh, well, thank you so much. Like when I spotted it, I was like, I know who would love this. Dillin.
No, you're correct. You're so correct. I love it. It's a perfect game for me. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. The What Am I Rolling podcast was created, recorded, and edited by me, Fiona Howat. This episode's player was Dillin from the Oneshot podcast. This episode's RPG was The Words We Leave Behind, a duet epistolary RPG about the butterfly effect, war, love, and hate, written by Craig Duffy of Lunar Shadow Design. The theme music was 8-Bit March by Twin Musicon of twinmusicon.org, licensed under a Creative Commons 4.0 license. If you want to find out more about the podcast, check out the website. That's www.wairpodcast.com. Fancy getting in touch? Email the podcast at whatamirollingpodcast@gmail.com. Finally, follow the podcast on social media. You can find us at WAIR_podcast for latest news on upcoming episodes. All the links are in the episode show notes, including a link to our Discord. And remember, adventurers need not apply.